ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 10, Verse 1. Ishukovacha इति दानवदैतेया नाविन्दन् अमृतं नृप युक्ताः कर्मणि यत्ताश्च वासुदेवे परान्मुखाः. Shukadeva Goswami said, O king, the demons and daityas all engaged with full attention and effort in churning the ocean. But because they were not devotees of Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, they were not able to drink the nectar. So, it does not matter how much effort we put. Hmm. Whole material world is behind putting more and more and more and more effort for material advancement. But it doesn't matter how much effort we put. Hmm. For those who are not devotees of Krishna, it does not make any difference because they are going to get whatever they are supposed to get as per their karma pala. And those who are devotees of Krishna, for them also it's not required for them to work, put excessive effort from a material perspective, because Krishna will anyway take care. Hmm. So if at all we want to put some effort, we should put it for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. That is the only thing which is non-material. Everything else is material. So for material, we should not put too much effort, too much attention. See, even attention is important, right? Because most software people, I was also in software, so I know that we have to put a lot of attention. Hmm. The other day, Rohit Prabhu was saying that, he had something he was trying to solve. He's sitting till 2 o'clock in the morning. So much of attention is required. And effort also. But no use. They did not get the nectar. Hmm. What's not this? साधयित्वामृतं राजन् पाययित्वा स्वकान् सुरान् पश्यतां सर्वभूतानां ययौ Garudavahanah. O king, after the Supreme Personality of Godhead had brought to completion the affairs of churning the ocean and feeding the nectar to the demigods, who were his devotees, he left the presence of them all and was carried by Garuda to his own abode. So the Lord manifested his original form and then he left. Mhm. Sapatnanam param riddhim दृष्ट्वा ते दितिनन्दनाः अमृष्यमाणा उत्पेतुर्देवान् प्रत्युद्यतायुधाः. Seeing the victory of the demigods, the demons became intolerant of their superior opulence. Thus they began to march toward the demigods with raised weapons. ततः सुरगणा सर्वे सुधया पीतया यैधिताः प्रतिसंयुयुधु शस्त्रैर्नारायणपदाश्रयाः. Thereafter, being enlivened because of drinking the nectar, the demigods, who are always at the shelter of the lotus feet of Narayana, use their various weapons to counteract the demons in a fighting spirit. Tatra Daivasuro Nama Rana Paramadharunaha Rodhasi Udanvato Rajams Tumulo Roma Harshanaha. O king, a fierce battle on the beach of the ocean of milk ensued between the demigods and the demons. The fighting was so terrible that simply hearing about it would make the hair on one's body stand on end. Terrible fight. Open. तत्रान्योन्यं सपत्नास्ते संरब्ध मनसोरणे समासाद्यासिभिर्बाणैर्निझग्नुर् विविधायुधैः. Both parties in that fight were extremely angry at heart, and in enmity they beat one another with swords, arrows, and varieties of other weapons. There are always two kinds of men in this universe, not only on this planet but also in higher planetary systems. All the kings dominating planets like the sun and moon also have enemies like Rahu. It is because of occasional attacks upon the sun and moon by Rahu that eclipses take place. The fighting between the demons and demigods is perpetual. It cannot be stopped unless intelligent persons from both sides take to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is saying that intelligent persons have to take to Krishna consciousness because not everybody will take to Krishna consciousness. So, intelligent person should take and then make others to take. Hmm. So, even amongst demons, if there are intelligent persons who can take to Krishna consciousness, then they can convince the other demons also. Because they know their language, which means that they know their mindset, mood. Mm. Which is why it's always important to find some, important communities. It could be anything. If there is a, say, a business community and you find the leader of the business community and somehow make him a devotee, and then he will take care of making others a devotee. So we should find leaders in society. Hmm. But it's very difficult. Leaders are mostly atheistic, mostly, because they believe that whatever they achieved is by their own endeavor. So they don't believe in the existence of God. Even if they believe it's just like lip service. But they firmly believe that they are the creators of their destiny. So it's difficult. Next, Srila Prabhupada tried to meet Indira Gandhi. He had a 10-point program. But then, whatever, there was some threat on her life on that day. So Prabhupada did not bring up these points. Mm. But he tried to write to so many mm, politicians, so many big men, but not much response. शङ्ख तूर्य मृदङ्गानां भेरीडमरिणां महान् हस्त्यश्वरथ पत्तीनां नदतां निस्वनो भवत्. The sounds of the conch shells, bugles, drums, bheris, and damaris, kettle drums, as well as the sounds made by the elephants, horses, and soldiers who are both on chariots and on foot, were tumultuous. War scene. Hmm. Somehow this verse takes time. Okay. रथिनो रथिभिस्तत्र पत्तिभिः सह पत्तयः हया हयेरिभाश्चेवैः संसज्जन्त संयुगे. On the battlefield, the charioteers fought with the opposing charioteers, the infantry soldiers with the opposing infantry, soldiers on horseback with opposing soldiers on horseback, and the soldiers on the backs of elements with the enemy soldiers on elephants. In this way, the fighting took place between equals. उष्ट्रै केचिद् इभै केचिद् अपरे युयुधुः करे खरैः केचित् कौरमुखैर्रक्षैर्द्वीपिभिर्हरिभिर्भटः भटाः. Some soldiers fought on the backs of camels, some on the backs of elephants, some on asses, some on white-faced and red-faced monkeys, some on tigers and some on lions. In this way, they all engaged in fighting. I should use a mouse. गृध्रैकङ्कैर्बकैरन्ये शेनभासैस्तिमिङ्गलैः शरभैर्महिषैः खड्गैर्गोवृषैर्गवयार्हुणैः शिवाभिर्राखुभिः केचित् कृकलासैः सशैर्नरैः सारैर्हंसैरन्य च शूकरसूकरैः अन्ये जलस्थलखगैः सत्त्वैर्विकृतविग्रहैः सेनयोरुभयोराजन् विविशुस्ते ग्रतो ग्रतः. O king, some soldiers fought on the back of vultures, eagles, ducks, hawks, and bhasa birds. Some fought on the backs of timinglas. Timinglas are something which can eat huge whales, which are called timis in Sanskrit. So which means that they were on the fighting on the shore. So there are also, fighters who are on sea animals. Hmm. Some on the banks of the Timinglas, which can devour huge whales. Some on the back of Sharabas. Some on buffaloes, rhinoceroses, cows, bulls, cows also, jungle cows, and arunas. Others fought on the backs of jackals, rats, lizards, rabbits, human beings, goats, black deer, swans, and boars. In this way, mounted on animals of the water, land, and sky, including animals with deformed bodies, both armies faced each other and went forward. Okay, I'm going to just read the translation. O king, O descendant of Maharaja Pandu, the soldiers of both the demigods and demons were decorated by canopies, colorful flags, and umbrellas with handles made of very valuable jewels and pearls. They were further decorated by fans made of peacock feathers and by other fans also. The soldiers, their upper and lower garments waving in the breeze, naturally looked very beautiful, and in the light of the glittering sunshine, their shields, ornaments, sharp, clean weapons appeared dazzling. Thus, the ranks of soldiers seemed like two oceans with bands of aquatics. For that battle, the most celebrated commander-in-chief, Maharaja Bali, son of Virochana, was seated on a wonderful airplane named Vaihayasa. O king, this beautifully decorated airplane had been manufactured by the demon Maya and was equipped with weapons for all types of combat. It was inconceivable and indescribable. Indeed, it was sometimes visible and sometimes not. Seated in this airplane under a beautiful protective umbrella and being fanned by the best of chamaras, Maharaj Bali, surrounded by his captains and commanders, appeared just like the moon rising in the evening, illuminating all directions. Surrounding Maharaj Bali on all sides were the commanders and captains of the demons, sitting on their respective chariots. Among them were the following demons: Namuchi Shambara Bana Viprachitya Ayomukha Vimurdha Kalanabha Praheti Heti Ilvala Shakuni Bhuta Santapa Vajradamshtra Virochana Hayagriva Shankusira Kapila Meghadundubhi Taraka Chakradrik Shumbha Nishumba Jambha Utkala Arishta Arishtanemi Tripuradhipa Maya Sansa Puloma the Kaleyas and the Nivata Kavacha. All of these demons had been deprived of their share of the nectar and had shared merely in the labor of churning the ocean. Now they fought against the demigods, and to encourage their armies, they made a tumultuous sound like the roaring of lions and blew loudly on conch shells. Balabhit, Lord Indra, upon seeing the situation of his ferocious rivals, became extremely angry. Super slow. Sitting on Airavata, an elephant who can go anywhere and who holds water and wine in reserve for showering. Lord Indra looked just like the sun rising from Udayagiri, where there are reservoirs of water. On top of the mountain called Udayagiri are large lakes from which water continuously pours in waterfalls. Similarly, Indra's carrier Airavata holds water and wine in reserve and showers it in the direction of Lord Indra. Thus, Indra, king of heaven, sitting on the bank of Airavata, appeared like the brilliant sun rising above the Udayagiri. Surrounding Lord Indra, king of heaven, were the demigods seated on various types of vehicles and decorated with flags and weapons. Present among them were Vayu, Agni, Varuna, and other rulers of various planets, along with their associates. The demigods and demons came before each other and reproached one another with words piercing to the heart. Then they drew near and began fighting face to face in pairs. So, first work is to speak harshly so that the other person's heart is pierced by those sharp words. Mm. Now, this is the quality of demons. Mm. Talking in such a way that others are made to feel bad, their heart is pierced. The quality of demons. Uh, but on the other end, it's also the quality of spiritual leaders, gurus, and so on. Uh, though their intention is not to hurt somebody, their intention will be to correct. But in terms of demons, the intention is just to hurt somebody, right? So there's a difference, but the act might look similar. Because when we hear some things like this, then people might think, oh, then others also, like guru corrects, other leaders correct. So they might also speak in a way that it might be difficult for others to accept, but it is for their spiritual welfare. So it cannot be compared to demons. Hmm. O King Maharaja Bali fought with Indra, Kartikeya with Taraka, Varuna with Heti, and Mitra with Praheti. Yamaraja fought with Kalanabha, Vishwakarma with Mayadanava, Tvashta with Shambara, and the sun god with Virochana. Demigod Aparajita fought with Namuchi. Two Ashwini Kumara brothers fought with Vrishaparva. Sun god fought with 100 sons of Maharaja Bali, headed by Bana. And the moon god fought with Rahu. Demigod controlling air fought with Puloma. And Shumbha and Nishumba fought the supremely powerful material energy, Durga Devi, who is called Bhadrakali. O Maharaja Parikshit, suppressor of enemies, Arindama. Lord Shiva fought with Jambha. Vibhavasu fought with Mahishasura. Ilvala, along with his brother Vatapi, fought the sons of Lord Brahma. Durmarsha fought with Cupid, demon Utkala, with Matrika demigoddesses, Brihaspati with Shukracharya, and Shanaishchara, Saturn with Narakasura. The Maruts fought with Nivata Kavacha. The Vasus fought with Kalakeya demons. The Vishwadeva demigods fought the Pauloma demons. And the Rudras fought the Krodhavasha demons, or victims of anger. Krodhavasha. The name is only Krodhavasha. All of these demigods and demons assembled on the battlefield with a fighting spirit and attacked one another with great strength. All of them desiring victory, they fought in pairs, hitting one another severely with sharpened arrows, swords, and lances. They severed one another's heads using weapons like bhushundis, chakras, clubs, rushtis, pattishas, shaktis, ulmukas, prasas, parashwadhas, nistrimshas, lances, parighas, mudgaras, bindipalas. So Prabhupada has added yes to each to show that they are in plural. Bhushundi, Chakra, Rishti, Pattisha, Shakti, Ulmuka, Prasha, like that. And then he's added yes to indicate that there were many of them, plural. Hmm. Elephants, horses, chariots, charioteers, infantry soldiers, and various kinds of carriers, along with their riders, were slashed to pieces. The arms, thighs, necks, and legs of the soldiers were severed, and their flags, bows, armor, and ornaments were torn apart. Because of the impact on the ground of the legs of the demons and demigods and the wheels of the chariots, particles of dust flew violently into the sky and made a dust cloud that covered all directions of outer space as far as the sun. But when the particles of dust were followed by drops of blood being sprinkled all over space, the dust cloud could no longer float in the sky, meaning it became heavy. The cloud of dust covered the entire horizon, but when drops of blood sprayed up as far as the sun, the dust cloud could no longer float in the sky. A point to be observed here is that although the blood is stated to have reached the sun, it is not said to have reached the moon. Apparently, therefore, as stated elsewhere in Bhagavatam, the sun, not the moon, is the planet nearest the earth. We already discussed this point in many places. Sun is first, then the moon, then Mars, Jupiter, and so on. The sun is supposed to be 93 lakh miles above the surface of the earth, and from Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that the moon is 16 lakh, that is 930 lakh, 16 lakh miles above the sun. Therefore, the distance between the earth and the moon would be about 950 lakh miles. So if a space capsule were traveling at the speed of 18,000 miles per hour, how could it reach the moon in 4 days? At that speed, going to the moon would take at least several months. That a space capsule on a moon excursion has reached the moon in 4 days is therefore impossible. Prabhupada is so brilliant. He just uses science, tarka, logic. He's saying if you're traveling at the speed of 18,000 miles per hour and the distance you have to travel is once, yeah, 95,000, 950 lakh miles. How can you reach the moon in 4 days? Because you can do what? 18,000 miles per hour means, so you do 18,000 into 48, right? Which is just about 8,64,000. And this is 950 lakhs. So there's no way somebody could have reached the moon in 4 days. So it's a cheating. In the course of the battle, the warfield became strewn with the severed heads of heroes, their eyes still staring at, and their teeth were still pressed against their lips in anger. Helmets and earrings were scattered from these severed heads. Similarly, many arms decorated with ornaments and clutching various weapons were strewn here and there, as were many legs and thighs, which resembled the trunks of elements. So, devastation. Many headless trunks were generated on the battlefield with weapons in their arms. Those ghastly trunks, which could see with the eyes in the fallen heads, attacked the enemy soldiers. It appears that the heroes who died on the battlefield immediately became ghosts. And although their heads had been severed from their bodies, new trunks were generated. And these new trunks, seeing with the eyes in the severed heads, new trunks were generated. The new trunks are seeing with the eyes in the severed heads, meaning the heads were cut off. So cut off heads have fallen somewhere. But connected to those cut off heads, some new bodies have been developed. And those bodies are going without heads, but they're seeing through the eyes of those severed heads. Some evil horror story, horror movie. So they began to attack the enemy. In other words, many ghosts were generated to join the fight, and thus new trunks appeared on the battlefield. See, anything can happen. Hmm. Material world is inconceivable. Krishna has created all kinds of energies. Hmm. We can't say that anything is not possible. Anything is possible. Hmm. Maharaja Bali then attacked Indra with 10 arrows and attacked Airavata, Indra's carrier elephant, with 3 arrows. With 4 arrows, he attacked the 4 horsemen guarding Airavata's legs, and with 1 arrow, he attacked the driver of the elephant. The word Vahan refers to soldiers on horseback who protected the legs of carrier elephants. According to the system military arrangement, the legs of the elephant bearing the commander were also protected. So there are there are soldiers on horseback protecting the legs of the elephants. Before Bali Maharaja's arrows could reach him, Indra, who is expert in dealing with arrows, smiled and counteracted the arrows with arrows of another type known as Bhalla, which were extremely sharp. So full war scene today. When Bali Maharaja saw the expert military activities of Indra, he could not restrain his anger. Thus, he took up another weapon known as Shakti, which blazed like a great firebrand. Firebrand means pataka. But Indra cut that weapon to pieces while it was still in Bali's hand. Thereafter, one by one, Bali Maharaj used a lance, prasa, tomara, vrishtis, and other weapons. But whatever weapons he took up, Indra immediately cut them to pieces because they had now got the upper hand. My dear King Bali then disappeared and restored to demoniac illusions. A giant mountain generated from illusion then appeared above the heads of the demigod soldiers. So all these demons are experts in all this Maya. So he's creating some illusion. From that mountain fell trees blazing in a forest fire. Chips of stone with sharp edges like picks also fell and smashed the heads of the demigod soldiers. And the Maya was not just like it was not false. The illusion seemed to work like real. So there's something coming out of it and hitting the demigod soldiers, and they were dying. Scorpions, large snakes, and many other poisonous animals, as well as lions, tigers, boars, and great elephants, all began falling upon the demigod soldiers, crushing everything. So, like, some rain of animals. Oh, my king, many hundreds of male and female carnivorous demons, completely naked and carrying tridents in their head, then appeared crying the slogans, cut them to pieces, pierce them. Fierce clouds, harassed by strong winds, then appeared in the sky, rumbling very gravely with the sound of thunder. They began to shower live coals. My God. Live coals meaning burning. Great devastating fire created by Bali Maharaj began burning all the soldiers of the demigods. This fire, accompanied by blasting winds, seemed as terrible as the Samvartaka fire, which appears at the time of dissolution. So, the time of dissolution, the sun, the fire that appears is also called Samvartaka. The clouds that pour heavy rains are also called Samvartaka. Both are Samvartaka. Thereafter, whirlpools and sea waves, agitated by fierce blasts of wind, appeared everywhere before everyone's vision in a furious flood. While the magical atmosphere in the fight was being created by the invisible demons, who were expert in such illusions, the soldiers of the demigods became morose. When the demigods could find no way to counteract the activities of the demons, they wholeheartedly meditated upon the Supreme Lord, the creator of the universe, who then immediately appeared. See, such a difficult situation for the demigods. So finally they just give up and think of the Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord immediately appears. Supreme Lord, whose eyes resemble the petals of newly blossomed lotus, sat on the back of Garuda, spreading his lotus feet over Garuda's shoulders. Dressed in yellow, decorated by the Kaustupa gem and the goddess of fortune, and wearing an invaluable helmet and earrings, Supreme Lord, holding various weapons in his 8 hands, became visible to the demigod. So this is, mood of fighting. As the dangers of a dream cease when the dreamer awakens, the illusions created by the jugglery of the demons were vanquished by the transcendental prowess of the Supreme Person of Godhead. as soon as he entered the battlefield. So this is very, very important. See, when the Lord appeared, suddenly all illusion goes. Because illusion is also created by ignorance, mode of ignorance, tamoguna. Hmm. So the magical illusions are also made of tamoguna. Anyway, whatever qualities, be it tamoguna, rajoguna, they disappear when the Lord appears in our heart. Those who are still in tamoguna, rajoguna means that the Lord has not appeared. And to whatever extent one is in sattvaguna, to that extent we can say Lord has appeared. Of course, it's figurative, meaning it's not that partially Lord has appeared. Meaning the influence of the Lord has started, the influence of Lord's name has started. And when the heart becomes completely clean, then when the devotee develops love for Krishna, then what happens? Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. So when that happens, Paramatma is replaced by Bhagavan. This happens for pure devotees. Like Hanuman's heart did not have Paramatma. Hanuman's heart had Rama. Our hearts right now has Paramatma because we are still contaminated. And Paramatma enters everybody's heart because that's his role in this material world. But Bhagavan doesn't enter. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna doesn't enter. He enters only when the heart is full of love. Mm. There's a bed of, we like to say, bed of roses, like bed of love. Then Krishna will come and manifest himself there. And when that happens, all the ignorance and illusion of this material world vanish once at once. We sing in Guru Puja. What is it we sing? What is the line in Guru Puja which says that avidya is destroyed? When is it destroyed? Prema bhakti jahan hoite avidya vinasha jate. When prema bhakti, wherever there is prema bhakti, or when prema bhakti awakens, avidya vinasha jate. The avidya is destroyed. So the only way to destroy avidya is to do bhakti in such a way that prema awakens. Otherwise, there's no other. Yeah, we can try the gnana marga to go to sattva, but there'll still be contamination left. Only when prema appears, all contamination is destroyed. And prema doesn't appear unless one engages in devotion. Indeed, simply by remembrance of the Supreme Person of Godhead, one becomes free from all dangers. Forget about. So, we should read again, this one statement like this. This just shows the power of Nama and our lack of faith in Nama. Both. Power of Nama is that simply by thinking of Krishna, simply by saying Krishna, all dangers are gone. Simply by calling Krishna over, all dangers are gone. But we don't have so much faith. See, and it doesn't even say that you have to have some prayerful mood, you have to beg for mercy, nothing. Simply remember Krishna over. It's so powerful. So powerful. We should understand this. See, that is why beauty of this chanting process is beautiful, because actually today I was thinking about it. All we need to develop is just an attraction to the nama. Meaning, don't have to think about that the nama refers to Radha, Krishna, or energy of Krishna, nothing. Simply develop attachment to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Right? We just have to simply develop attachment to Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Now, however it is, however one develops, that's up to them. But our attraction should be there for the nama. Meaning simply, when you say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simply those words, that mantra, we should develop attraction. So we can just put our brain into, if there is something like dead mode, we just put the brain to dead mode and simply hear. And And see, for us, whatever, if we do something again and again, we get used to it. So like that, if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, daily, and understand saying that, okay, all I need to do is just somehow I should feel like chanting more. That's all. That's all we need to develop. We don't need anything else. There's no logic required. Just shut down the brain. Shut down the brain and simply hear. And whatever you hear, which is the names of the Lord, should attract you. That's all. Mm. And Krishna, name itself is all attractive. Krishna is all attractive. Right? So simply if we develop attachment to this Hare Krishna Rama, these three names, that's all that is required. Actually, we should say these three sounds. This is chanting. Chanting is to develop attraction to the sound. You might not understand what that sound means. It doesn't matter. Hmm. We just have to develop attraction to the sound. It's like crazily simple, so we don't get it at all. We just don't get it. We want to use our brain to think about complicated things. Or maybe I have to think about the form of the Lord. Maybe I have to do this, maybe I have to do that. Nothing. You just have to develop love for that sound. And see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. To help us develop that love for the sound, he's given us kirtana. So when we engage in more and more kirtana, automatically the love for the sound increases. Right? And then when we chant, that same love appears, because now if we develop love for the sound, if we develop love for the music and not the nama, then it won't help. Mm. And which is why Prabhupada was very, very particular, saying that don't use jing bang instruments while doing kirtan. Just use kartal, mridanga, and the janjar or whatever, and that's enough. Because the focus has to be on the nama, and one has to develop attraction to the nama. See, initially it might so happen that we might get attracted to the tune in which the nama is chanted, which is also fine. Which is also fine. Because then what happens? The tune will keep going on. And by virtue of tune, eventually one will develop attraction to the nama. Attraction to the sound. I'll use this word sound because it's more easier to understand. We have to simply develop an attraction to the sound. Which sound? Now we are we have so much attraction to mundane sound, right? Like there's a cricket match, and then they're all shouting ha hoo, and people, so much excitement, see so much excitement in the stadium. We are attracted to all kinds of nonsense sounds. We have to get attracted to this sound of the names of Krishna. Again, attraction to the sound. Please remember this. It was a realization today after so many years that we don't have to use our brain. Just develop attraction to the sound. And that's why we do more and more kirtan, as much as kirtan as possible. Prabhupada's process was that, right? Every arti ends with kirtan, with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Class starts with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So develop attraction to the sound initially by, possibly it happens more easily by kirtana, and then by japa. That attraction is retained and it grows further, because then it becomes our personal sadhana, right, with the Lord. So then the sound is attracting us, to pulling us to to chant the sound again and again and again and again. And when this happens automatically, because that sound is non-different from Krishna, Krishna becomes pleased and Krishna manifests himself. Hmm. This simple summarization seems like known, right? Seems like known information. But it took me 15 years to put these in words, in these many words. So I have heard this a zillion times. I don't know, it might seem simple, but is this clear? The sound, we have to develop attraction to the sound. We have to like that sound. Okay, I'm stopping here if there are any questions on this, because it might seem very simple, but I think it's not that simple. Meaning we have a tendency to complicate things. So, like I had complicated my own chanting for the last 15 years, I think, many might have. So Is this clear? That we are not developing attraction to anything else, we are developing attraction to just the sound. Is this understandable? Okay, devotees here are saying yes. What about online?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shashank Prabhu. Oh, ಎಡಕ್ಕೆ ತೆರೆಯಲಿದೆ. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I mentioned in chat.
Chat, you mentioned in chat. Okay, let me see. Hare Krishna, after 16 rounds completion, if you unknowingly chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, is attraction to Nama sound? Unknowingly, yeah. I mean, like
Like as a prank.
I was telling my daughter, saying that,
Sometimes
yeah, I got the question. So I was telling my daughter, saying that you come to satsang on Sunday, and when you come for satsang on Sunday, then because of overdose of Harinam, what will happen is that you will, even if you get up in the night, Harinam is going on. The Nama is going on. Maybe you got hooked on to some tune that was sung in the satsang or whatever. Now this is completely unconscious. It's not unknowingly, as in it's unconscious, meaning we don't know. We were asleep. And as soon as you wake up in the middle of the night, maybe to pass water or whatever, suddenly you still see that the same tune is going on. Hmm. This is the power of kirtan. That is why kirtan has to be done by pure devotees. Devotees who don't have any desires for la puja pratishtha, who are just singing because they have an attraction for nama, and because they want to please Guru and Krishna. And when we hear such kirtan, that kirtan goes and sits in our wherever, in our existence. You know, in Mahabharata, like Arjuna's bones were also chanting Hare Krishna. We were in Pandharpur and we were discussing, right, Choka Mela. Choka Mela's bones were chanting Hare Krishna, which means that the whole existence is soaked, is steeped, is completely immersed in Harinam. So every part of the existence is sounding Harinam. Harinam is coming out. And some devotees also saw that, they wanted to test how Prabhupada is. Prabhupada always used to say 24 hours devotional service. They were thinking, Prabhupada is sleeping now, so let's see if he's Krishna conscious. They dared to test Prabhupada. So one devotee climbed up somewhere, some country. So they climbed up the wall, and from the window, from the window, they could see where Prabhupada was sleeping. And then actually the devotee somehow climbed in, I think, and then he's able to hear sound. He's able to hear Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but he's seeing Prabhupada is sleeping. Which means that, their whole existence is Harinam. Even their mouth doesn't have to chant. Their whole existence is chanting Harinam. This is like, anyway, this is for all super great devotees. But point I'm making is that somehow we have to develop this attraction to Nama. And the stage one is attraction to Raga, which is okay. But we should not get stuck at Raga. Many devotees, and of course, this is a stage of devotion which is in the stage of Ruchi. There are two sub stages. One is when we are attracted by good quality bhakti, meaning good quality kirtan, good quality class, everything high class, high class, high class. Like this, we get attracted. But there's another stage in devotion where if a pure devotee, suppose there's a pure devotee, somehow he doesn't know to sing kirtan. Not that everybody is gifted with singing, but he's chanting pure nama. Then the pure devotees get attracted by that pure nama of that pure devotee. But neophytes will not get attracted because they are attracted by this raga. So they'll get switched off. So that's a higher stage of devotion. When the purity of the devotion impacts, we get attracted by the purity of devotion and not the performance of the devotion or not how well it was done, like that. But just remember this, somehow, and which is why we say that we have to get attracted by sound. If we don't chant loudly, for Mataji here, if you don't chant loudly, we cannot hear the sound. So you cannot develop attraction to the sound. You have to develop attraction to the sound. Please understand, Prabhupada, when he makes a statement saying that chant loudly, we should understand I have to chant loudly. That's all. Now, we might not be able to understand, or we might feel, no, no, my chanting in the mind is actually I'm chanting better than when I chant loudly. Yes, but it's not going to take you to perfection. Because how will you develop attraction to a sound which you're not hearing at all? You're not hearing. You're in a you see, okay, this is very, very Krishna is giving more and more insights. See, when we are chanting in the mind, we are chanting a concept. We are not hearing the sound. Where are we hearing the sound? For us to hear the sound has to come out. If the mouth is not making any sound at all, then it is hearing the silent chanting in the mind. But we are not expected to hear the silent chanting. We are expected to hear the sound. Yeah, sound, vibrate. Forget about it. I mean, sound, let's not complicate. The sound of the Nama is what we have to get attracted with. Meaning when we just say Krishna, Rama, Hare, that sound should attract us. Just think about this. Today, whole day, introspection of sound, attraction to the sound of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And not the music, but it's okay initially if there's attraction to raga, but the focus has to be on the sound. And when that focus comes on the sound, and when we chant that sound, we also get attracted by the sound. So initially we get attracted by somebody else's sound, sound sung by a pure devotee. Then we get attracted by the sound emanating from our mouth only, even though we might not be pure. That is the influence that happens by the chanting of pure devotees. So this is very, very, very important. Why did I do that? Yeah, because there's something about a name of the Supreme Person about it. Okay, yeah, any other questions? Somebody else said also. Oh, Satvik Rao. One second, Prabhu. In Samudra Manthan, Bali Maharaj is the commander-in-chief. In Vamana Leela, he also appears there. These two events happen in different kalpas. Yeah, must be. Change every kalpa. No, I don't know about this. Whether the Mahajanas change every kalpa. No, I haven't read anything like that. But yeah, if Bali Maharaj appeared in two Leelas, then he appeared in two Leelas. Why he appeared, that only Lord knows. Yeah, Gyanendra Prabhu. How to complete 16 round? Yeah, but whether you think about it or you don't think about it, anyway you will complete, no? I'm saying, whether you think about not completing or not completing, 16 rounds will anyway get completed. Now, what is the point in thinking about it? Right? See, which is why our mind wants to engage in things that are useless. It's useless. It's useless to think about when am I going to complete my round, right? But in that same time of wasting, our mental faculty to think about when I will complete, even if there is one nama which attracted us, one nama, somewhere in that 16 rounds, one Krishna attracted me, that is enough. So from tomorrow, practice saying that, okay, you can do whatever you're doing. You can be worried about how fast you're going to complete rounds, whatever. In the middle of all this chanting, just see if you got attracted by one sound of the whole chanting. Of the 2 hours chanting, did any one sound that you heard attractive? Sometimes, why do we do chanting in group? Sometimes you might get attracted by somebody else's chanting. You're not attracted by your own chanting. You're attracted by hearing somebody else's chanting because they're chanting so nicely, which is also good. Because then whenever you chant, then you will think about that devotee is chanting so nicely. And then you feel, no, Krishna, I also want to chant like this. So that is the advantage of chanting in a congregation. Anyway, so point is our mind will be doing 150 things. Forget, that's fine. Let it continue to do. But just try to develop attraction to the sound. Any one sound or more sound coming out of your mouth, chanting the mantra, that sound should attract. And little bit you think deeper, so when we are chanting the sound, if there is a feeling behind the sound, automatically you will get attracted. Meaning, and that is slightly advanced. So when you say Krishna, sometimes just the name Krishna, actually what we need to develop is just the name Krishna, attraction to the name Krishna, that sound Krishna, 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 Krishna. That sound itself should attract us. Nothing, behind or forward. But if suppose when you say Krishna and suddenly you remember, oh, this is Supreme Lord's name, and then if that makes you get attracted more towards the name sound Krishna, it's also good. It's also good. But even that logic is not required. It's so powerful. I'm trying to explain that even without logic, simply by developing attraction to the sound, we can achieve love of Krishna. It's so powerful. Okay, is it clear? Some esoteric. I spoke some blah today. Yeah, everything. That is advanced stage. You have to take Krishna's name in all situations. Your stomach ache, Krishna. Your headache, Krishna. You're happy, Krishna. You're sad, Krishna. Prasadam was good, Krishna. Prasadam, you felt something spicy, Krishna. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll close here. There are no other questions, we'll close. Srimad Bhagavatam